Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, 70-man Twitter the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Mice Tea. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Alright. The train lurches forward, and an empty, disposed-of coffee cup slides down the wall until it bumps against me. It makes a hollow tonk in it, and then stills. I wrap my tail around my ankles and sit motionless for a few minutes. The rain begins to beat against the windows in earnest. Fuck. The train stops at the next station to exchange passengers. A new passenger sits above me, and I hear the bench sag. They place their bag under the seat, and it nearly smashes into me. But I'm spared of the need to move and possibly give my location away. It's another few minutes before I can think of another thought. Why did you have to screw up so bad, Margaret? I can't determine what exactly I've screwed up most. All the options are too overwhelming. Picking the tea off the floor in the first place, brewing it, drinking it, taking Gavin's call instead of just telling Julie or my parents, or hell, even Felix. Everything I'd done since staying at Gavin's apartment, from not resisting my sexual urges to basically snooping on his phone, and most pressingly, running unprotected into the dead of night. There were surely dozens of feral cats in the neighborhood that wouldn't have thought twice about eating me. Once I get to my neighborhood, it'll be even more dangerous. I'd seen owls from my window at night and heard raccoons rummage through my garbage. I'm not positive raccoons eat mice, but that won't be any consolation if I run across one in my escape. The wail of a crossing signal speeds past the train carriage. That doesn't even take into account the passengers on the train who could step on me or crush me with their bags. And that only considers what they do unwittingly. Who knows what they'd do if they saw and caught a bizarre mutant like me? A bizarre mutant who thought for barely 2 days that someone could find attractive. I wipe away a tear that's caught in my whiskers. Why didn't he tell me? Why did I have to find out like this? The opposite cheek needs tinting as well. Because he did it on purpose, you stupid girl. It couldn't be more obvious. I sniffle and rub my wet nose on the end of my ridiculous picture book snout. But why was he so nice to me? Why didn't he just do what he meant to do that first night? Unless that's part of it for him. He had to dress me up and make me fall for him like I did. Another interim stops ticks off the list on the train's journey to its terminal in my apartment. Now this makes any sense. Everything about this is impossible. No amount of time would be enough to puzzle it out, let alone the time it takes to reach the last stop. I wait until everyone stepped off before scurrying off the train, and then wait for the rain to subside before braving a few blocks to my apartment. It's a more familiar route, but one that's likelier to have predators this far outside the city proper. The streets are less crowded, though, which gives me more opportunities to run out in the open. During the whole ride, I worried Gavin would be waiting for me at my apartment, but at least he's not standing outside. If Julie has let him in, I'll have to plead my case to her. It's a lot harder going up the stairs like this, especially outdoor concrete ones with no rise. But I eventually make it to the apartment and rap on the door. Julie? Julie, please, open up! I grab a pebble next to my doormat and smash it against the metal of the doorframe. Julie, it's Margaret, let me in! I have no idea how far my voice travels, and that makes me all the more surprised when the door opens a few seconds later. Julie's even looking down at me instead of at her own eye level. Margaret? Gavin texted to say you were missing! I dash past her feet to the middle of the kitchen and wave with both hands to close the door. She's confused, but she follows my pantomime directions. Put me on the table! I doubt she can hear me, but I frantically jump and point at it to get the point across. Oh, okay. Do I just, pick you up? I hold my arms out straight with my palms upturned like I'm an orphan awaiting her daily gruel. Julie totters over and rests the back of her hands on the floor, unsure of what she's doing the whole time. It's enough for me to hop on, though. Lift me to the table! She can hear me this time, and it's grateful for confirmation of what she's supposed to be doing. The ride up to the table is rocky, far less adept than the sure hand Gavin developed. Even so, she's able to lift me up to its surface and I hop off. Margaret, what happened? Gavin told me that you ran away after he drank the tea and turned into an animal. I'm about to open my mouth to immediately contradict his story, but I pause when I realize Gavin's depiction that might be useful to hear. What did he say happened? Oh, well, he was having trouble working his phone because apparently he doesn't have fingers at the moment. I think he was using voice commands. He said the two of you got back to his place and he took some tea himself so he could test the method for meditating back to normal. Then he said he turned into a hawk or something and you got freaked out because that's a predator, and you thought he was going to attack you or something and then you ran away. The story is less self-serving than it could be, though he's predictably left out the most important detail. I didn't run away from him because he was a falcon. I ran away because he was threatening me. What? He threatened you? What did that fucker do to you? I pause to make sure that what I'm saying follows my recollections. Well, okay, I definitely felt threatened, and he slapped his phone away from me when I was using it. Also, he tried to stop me from leaving, and from being alone on the street as a tiny mouse. Julie looks confused. So wait, did he try to hurt you? Maybe, or I don't know. I grab my ears and tug them down. Second, y'all. It's beer time. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I prevented him from eating me or if I accused him of something horrible he didn't do or... Ah! I can't be that loud from Julie's perspective, but she still starts at my outburst. Gavin couldn't use his phone with his new wing, so I used it for him. I stumbled across some of his porn on there. Or, I mean, I saw what I thought might be porn, so I kind of swiped over to take a peek. Whoa, you did it with him just standing there? Yeah, I thought it'd be, I don't know, fun. Like I could tease him a little about what was on there, and then... Shit, it was stupid. I shouldn't have looked, and I thought he'd just use our safe word if I was somewhere I shouldn't be. I thought the stuff I'd find wouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, sometimes you can find stuff you're not prepared for. Well, in this case, I found something that totally changed everything about these last few days. What was it? It was porn of, well, this. I gestured down at my dress. He had pictures of you? No, he had pictures of this situation. Women turning into tiny mice and other animals. Like furry porn? Somehow, in the time since first seeing his stash, I hadn't associated with that term. Oh, yeah, I guess it was. But it wasn't just furry porn. It was specifically of human women turning into tiny furry animals. It was exactly what happened to me. Oh my god, do you think he meant for this to happen to you? Exactly, it's way too big of a coincidence otherwise, right? We're both puzzled through the evidence in front of us for a few moments. That's when Julie's phone buzzes. She jumps and fumbles it out of her pocket. It's him! What does it say? Let's see. I finished meditating back to normal. I'm going out to search for her and see if she's still nearby. What should I text back? A portion of the fear I felt when Gavin stood over me returns. Don't tell him I'm here! Okay, I'll tell him I haven't seen anything. She starts to swipe the message into her phone. Wait, no! Her fingers stay stuck in the place on the screen. Tell him I made it safely here. And that I still don't trust him. Not completely or much at all. I don't want to hear from him tonight. If he wants to talk to me again, he has to wait until tomorrow. I want to set up some sort of boundary, some test for him to pass, no matter how simple. Too many men I've been involved with bristled at the most lenient of restraints being put on them. It's a good way to weed out ones who won't respect more important boundaries. If there's any chance Gavin's telling the truth, he'll accept this demand. I hope. Okay. I sent it. She holds the phone upright in her hand as we wait to see if there's any response. There isn't any for at least a minute. Okay, so it looks like he's not responding. Yeah, it says seen, and that's it. I guess that's a good sign. Hopefully. We spend another few minutes waiting for a response, or maybe just unwinding after being spun up for so long. Nothing interrupts us again. So, what do you want us to do now? Actually, I'm totally exhausted. I can't believe I had to run all that way between his apartment and here. Besides the train, that is. Oh, yeah, you want to sleep on your bed? That would be such a relief, thank you. Also, would you mind sharing the bed with me? Just so I have someone I trust there with me? Yo, yeah, of course. It's not like you'll take up much of the bed. The laugh she manages to extract from me almost hurts as it escapes my lungs. I totally shut off those muscles, and feeling them act on their own is jarring. Still a relief, though. Yeah, I guess I don't. Thanks, Julie. Anytime, Margaret. She holds her hands out, and I'm treated to another inexpert ride, but this time to my bedroom. Okay. Day 6. Trust. Ooh. Alright, y'all. Let me, take a sip. Boy, that's a good brew, boy. Somehow it's the first night I've dreamed of myself as a mouse. It was only a matter of time, and last night's experience taught me the reality of life as prey. I spent the entire night back on the streets of my neighborhood, searching for my apartment, which was never in the right spot. Predators beset me on every side, but none were as persistent and frightening as the falcon that dove out of the air with its talons grasping toward me right before I woke up. I didn't have the courage to try sleeping again after that. Julie carries me out to the kitchen when she wakes up. I don't have the energy or inclination to put my dress on, so I have to grab a napkin from the cabinet. I'm back to what counted as my first outfit in this form. My appetite doesn't amount to much, so I ask Julie for a simple crust of bread and some water. It's an easy request to fill. She places the food on a saucer in front of me. So, I don't know if you need it cut up or whatever. It's not as expertly prepared as Gavin was able to accomplish with a few days' practice, but there's no one I'd rather receive breakfast from today. Though, Gavin might have been practicing before I even came to his apartment. Nope, it's great, thanks! I leaned down and grabbed a pawful of bread. I'm sorry for making you sleep down on the foot of the bed. You really could have slept up at the top with me. She spent about a half hour up at the head with her pillow across from mine before shifting to sleep more toward the bottom. Nah, I've elbowed too many girls in the face in my sleep to risk that. I'd probably have knocked you right off your own bed. Trust me, it was more comfortable in my van. I started nibbling on my hunk of bread. You know, we haven't really talked about that at all. If you want to, I don't know, let me know how I can help or anything. Julie squints at me. Really? The fur on the back of my neck stands up. I mean, if you'd rather You turned into a mouse. That's the problem we're solving right now, okay? Well, there can be more than one problem. Margaret, I really need you to worry about yourself for once, alright? She says it as kindly as she can while remaining as firm as she feels is necessary. I trusted the wrong people, and I didn't take as much money as I wanted. I'm only living in the van because I'm not ready to go back to my parents just yet. Now, let's start figuring out how to help you. There's no question about it. So, what do you want me to do? Well, I guess I'd want to help meditating back to normal. Maybe measure me before and after or something. But in the meantime, I need to figure out what to do about, him. Julie nods. Should we leave your apartment so he doesn't know where you are? We can stay at any parking lot in the city for as long as you want. No, I don't think I'd go that far just yet. He still hasn't texted after all. I think he's trying to convince me he didn't do it. Are you going to accept that? I mean, we're pretty sure he did this to you, aren't we? He gave you the tea in the first place, right? That's true. I realize I've jumped over a step. Well, it was at his shop at least. I found it on the floor. Julie gives me the biggest judgmental squint I've ever seen from her. Why did you drink tea you found on the floor? I was drunk that night. Would he expect you to find and take that tea? Maybe. We kind of joke about me sticking my hands in all sorts of nooks around the store. My insides turn as a warm memory from our friendship is painted over with a new sinister connotation. He did give it to me for free, though he told me not to drink it. But maybe that was reverse psychology? Julie listens intently and sincerely, which means it's only my self-consciousness that makes me swelter into my fur. Wait, I forget, did you drink it with him? No, I had it myself here. I don't think he mentioned the tea after we left his store, but I don't remember a lot about that night. He called me when I got back home to check on me, which I guess might mean he was checking to see if I drank the tea, though he pretty much does that every time we go out drinking. Do you think he would have assumed you'd accept his help? Maybe. I guess I could have called my parents instead. Wait, what I really should have done is called you after it happened. Julia looks even more surprised when I said Gavin might have tried to eat me. Oh, thanks. She gives her chin a furtive scratch as she looks away. I would have expected you to think I was responsible enough for that. But you've been helping me so much. We would have known what the box said that night if I had called you. This whole thing might have been done with by now. Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence. But do we think he knew you'd drink it and then call him? Maybe he was banking on a slim chance. Though I would have drank it in the store if he'd offered. If he really wanted me to have some, that is. I guess that would have been more straightforward, and then he could have watched you shrink if that's the thing that gets him off. Yeah, that was a majority of what I found, like the actual shrinking and growing of animal bits. The word Julie said last night bobs back up to the surface of my memory. Wait, you said it was furry porn last night, right? I mean, you're the one who found it. Yeah, but I don't really have much of a frame of reference for that stuff. Second, y'all. Be your time. Do you have any experience with it? Like, I don't know, a girlfriend who liked that kind of stuff or something? Julie smirks. Yeah, I guess you could say I have some experience with it. You do? I've made the stuff. There's some racy photos of me in bear makeup I was going to sell at the FurryCon this weekend. I couldn't have possibly been prepared for that answer. Really? Wait, you're a furry too? I'm not suddenly worried Julie has the same designs for me as Gavin, but I'm still unnerved. Nah, I just know they're weirdly willing to pay for their porn compared to most people. I was just doing it to pick up some extra Oh, she's absolutely correct, too. So you've done it before? Yeah, in a world where Miles DF can, like, charge $5,000 for a single picture, like, oh my god. Yeah, they don't even care if you don't speak the lingo. They just want the pics. What are they like, then? Yeah, I don't know. They're pretty direct. I think they have a reputation for being horn dogs, but I think they're just upfront. So I know that's like a stereotype in the fandom, but I also find that a lot of people who accuse the furries of being horn dogs are horn dogs themselves. Like, humans are just noticed her shirt. Never stop gherkin. What the fuck? Julie, where are you getting these weird-ass fucking shirts from? Jesus. Alright. Most were nice, though. Like, they'd compliment me on my stuff instead of scuttling away after palming me the cash. Did you ever come across stuff like what I described? Like, people turning into little animals? Not really. It might be a niche thing. Which means he might be desperate enough to subject someone to the process if it's the thing he's into. I dropped my bread on the plate at my feet. I don't know, it feels like it's so obvious he did this to me, but every little detail chips away at the idea. It makes me feel so naive, though. Like, how could I be so stupid to think it's a coincidence? Maybe I'm just that desperate to think someone would like me like this. Or, you know, at all. Julie knows laughing would just make me feel bad, so she just grins. Margaret, what are you talking about? You've always been a great catch. He'd be the lucky one to have you. The compliment stings more than it should. But what if he only likes me because of this? What if I only feel this way about him because of how helpless I feel in this body? She scratches her head and looks away. I mean, maybe. But I don't know, something about the way you two interact at the shop was, well, I've seen you with a lot of guys and ladies, and I don't know, it seemed different. That's why I was so surprised when you came here with your story. He seemed so concerned about you. When you were back meditating, he kept checking my translation to confirm how the tea works. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to check out that Patreon, y'all. Bye-bye!